choking your chest. I can see it in your eyes that you're shaking, 'cause you're holding it back. Maybe you'll make up your mind, now I'm here by your side. So let it all out of me. Let it all out of me. Oh, I will hold you in the dark, make you forget about what's wrong. Let it all out of me. Let it all out of me. You won't get closer to me. If you won't open your door. If that's what you want, then baby try to believe me when I say that you can tell me anything. I can see it in your eyes that you're shaking, 'cause you're holding it back. Maybe you'll make up your mind, now I'm here by your side. So let it all out of me. Let it all out of me. Oh, I will hold you in the dark, make you forget about what's wrong. Let it all out of me. I can see it in your eyes that you're shaking, 'cause you're holding it back. Maybe you'll make up your mind, now I'm here by your side. I'm here. Let it all out of me. Let it all out of me. Oh, I will hold you in the dark, make you forget about what's wrong. Let it all out of me.
Hello and welcome. My name is Sara. You are most welcome on this creative journey here in southern Maine this week. I'm usually in northern Maine, and I'm down at my parents' because I commute for work and I decided to stay down here. So I'm looking to carve out a little space where I can manage the light and I can manage the sound, but there's only so much you can do when you're outside. So there'll be lots of ambient noise from the other inhabitants of this woodland area. But there is a grader happening and there's always airplanes, and so I'm going to do my best to be flexible and work with them. But it might be, it might be an interesting edit job, so we'll see how that goes. Before I get started, it's really important for me to acknowledge those that invest in this project financially, whether that's through a subscription on Patreon or through coffee. I am deeply grateful. It is humbly and encouraging that there is an investment in production and equipment and some of the travel that I do. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. If you're able to leave a comment, I love sharing insight, hearing what you're knitting, where you're from. So thank you. It also, if you're on YouTube, you can like and subscribe. That helps disperse this content to others and creates traction around these episodes. And I provide 2 free episodes a month for everyone to enjoy, and you can do that ad-free over on my blog site. And then I upload an additional studio vlog to patrons. So that's all the stuff. Oh, I also have an affiliate link if you would like to support me with the Woolly Thistle. No cost to you, a little kickback to me. So if you are shopping for any of the amazing wools that Corinne and the Woolly Thistle team stock, you can do that through my affiliate link, and I get a little bit of a commission. So that's wonderful ways to show your support for this content that's out there for you. Let's talk about the Encaustic, shall we? I've got a little bit of quiet apparently, so I want to get this out while I can. Encaustic is a medium which includes beeswax and demerara resin, and as it cools, the resin helps that beeswax cure into kind of a hardened shell over whatever you've chosen to use it on. Now, there's lots of applications for encaustic wax. You can paint with it, you can carve it, you can collage with it. I'm sure there's something I'm not saying, but I've been able to kind of play around with it. It's a very satisfying medium. The finish on it really adds a lot of texture and depth, especially to if you're using it as just a finish coat on watercolor, as you saw me do, which was one of my main reasons for hauling that out. So the botanical prints and some watercolor, I just wanted to fool around with using them as finished art prints and putting the encaustic kind of on as a finishing touch. So when you're using encaustic, it really is about melting and heating and binding. And I used watercolor paper for the prints. And so I was able to use PVA glue to put that down on a wooden substrate, those wooden frames. I think I get those from Dick Blick. And yeah, just a really easy way to turn your print or your piece of art into something just a little bit extra special. Now, once it's finished, not only does it have that, hardened shell over it as a protective layer, you can then go back in and distress that. And you saw me kind of doing that with, I just used a bookbinding awl to draw some lines in, and I put some R&F oil sticks down to just create a little distressing, and I used some pan pastel around the edge to add a little metallic kind of frame. The thing about the wax is that every time you add something, you need to just bind it in. So initially, when I lay down my first layers of wax, I go one way, and then I let that set. I pull it back in, rotate it 90 degrees, and I go the opposite direction. Then I use my heat gun and I gently bind those layers together. Anything I'm gonna add to that, I'm always binding it. I'm finishing it with heat to bind everything together into a composite piece. And you kind of saw me do that with when I was adding in some collage. I picked up some vintage letters at an Italian flea market in Rome, and I just loved the text on them. It's calligraphy. Of course, it's in Italian. There's some nice graphics of the ledger paper and numbers, and I think it adds a little bit of an interesting element. So that, and the paper itself is very interesting, and it takes to the wax and soaks in the wax, and so I laid that down and then put a little bit of wax over it, and then again, you use that bit of heat. It's really important when you're using paper and birch bark to use that low setting and keep your distance because, of course, you don't want it to catch on fire. But again, heat is really the key in keeping those layers together. So it was really fun to fool around. I love the finished prints. I think the botanical prints I did on the heat press and the finish of the encaustic, it's just a really, it's just very, for me, it's just very compelling. Like you get that, as I said, that kind of ethereal kind of texture or finish, and you can buff out that wax. Some of them I did, like I said, distress a little bit, and some I left plain. But they're just really, they're just really inviting because they have that beautiful texture. The finish on the encaustic, as I mentioned, it's just smooth and creamy, and it takes something that's kind of two-dimensional and it makes it three-dimensional, especially if you start to carve into it. And I think I showcased a piece I did with watercolor of a wolf where I laid down wax and then I carved the wolf out and then distressed the outer edges of the wax, and it kind of gave it like a plaster that had been removed or flaked away, kind of an archaeological feel to it. So there's, again, lots of different ways to utilize the wax. And then there's the whole realm of like adding pastels and encaustic paint colors and etc. So it's a really enriching medium to work with. And so we'll see. Those are gonna probably end up being gifts for friends. I really enjoyed putting the wax over the birch bark cyanotypes that I did. That was probably one of my favorites. And I think it's a great way to finish the birch bark cyanotype because the birch bark is hydrophobic. And I think I talked a little bit about that when I did the cyanotype. And so the encaustic wax can kind of help keep that pigment in place. So I think that's a really nice utilization of that, of those types of prints. That's the encaustic wax journey. I think I've mentioned in the past a couple YouTube videos that have been really helpful. One is Sherry Rapogel, and she also offers a teachable platform for encaustic. I have utilized a couple different books, which have been really helpful. But I think probably Sherry Rapogel's Wax on Wednesdays has been really inspiring and kind of what moved me forward in my skill once I kind of discovered it. So check out Wax on Wednesdays. She's got a lot of great cyanotype videos, encaustic wax, botanical prints that can be a nice jumping off point for your own work. And the other one that has been really helpful is R&F Encaustic, their channel themselves. So those are kind of two jumping out points if you're kind of interested. It is a doable project at home. The only main thing you have to kind of maintain is the right temperature for your wax, which you can easily do on one of those electric griddles with a surface thermometer, and making sure that you just have some good ventilation when you're doing it. So I really hope to do a little bit more encaustic before the weather becomes prohibitive. It's a great thing to do in these fall days because it's really well ventilated, right? So stay tuned for that. And yeah, we'll see what I'm able to get up to with some more birch bark cyanotype. So that was really intriguing for me. Sometimes you've got it and sometimes you don't. And I'm realizing that about this particular vlog. I'm kind of out of sorts. I'm a little bit out of my element. Things are a little bit out of order. And so I'm trying to gather that in and contain the content in a way that makes sense. But I feel like it just doesn't have a flow state to it. So I was like, anyway, I just want to acknowledge that because I feel it, and I just think there's going to be a lot of interesting editing. So we'll see. The last part here is I am going to talk about my knitting. I finished the Dreyma. This is by Jennifer Steingass. I knitted in Lettlopi. This is what the pattern calls for. I have knit this pattern before, and I knitted in a Nash Island wool. But I did a light gray and a dark contrast, and I wanted a reverse. So this is Stormy Seas in Lettlopi, and I think this is oatmeal beige on for the contrast. I could be wrong. So I did not choose to knit the color work on the band, or I did not choose to knit the color work on the cuffs. I did a little modification on the arms. I think I started my decreases further down from the armhole, the armpit, but I did do all of the decreases, and I left it kind of wide at the bottom, and I used garter for my bind off. So I don't like things bound up. These are going over other garments and other clothing, and so I like to have wiggle room to get my shirts down. And I also like to be able to push my sleeves up, so if I'm working, they're not in the fray of whatever, thing I'm doing. The other thing that I did, which I also included on my original sweater, is I did do the side shaping. She gives two versions. One's a straight and one has side shaping, and I did do that for this because I find the look to just add a little bit of elegance to the sweater, and I kind of enjoy that. So it can be not only like out in the canoe, but I can wear it with a pair of jeans, and it just has a little bit of put togetherness for my body. So Stormy Seas, Beige, Jennifer Steingass, Lettlopi. I knit this on a US 8. The original is knit on a US 6, and I love it. Now I also opted to cast on the Shetland Wool Week hat, and I really wanted to work with a very specific palette. I had purchased the woodland group, I guess, or set of colors from Gathered Sheep Yarns. She's no longer dyeing, but they were so beautiful all together, and I really wanted to work with them. And so I thought, oh, this will be perfect. It'll be like a nice little challenge to take those yarns and do the hat. So I pulled out a Maine color, kind of a contrast color, and I'm working with the Biches, the Lambswool. I did a beret in this, and then I think this is some Jameson's. I don't know. Didn't have a label on it, but I think I may have used this for my lovage. Anyway, this is kind of my two base colors. This was the main color, so it's a darker contrast. And then I had to work with, I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 colors. Maybe it's 4 additional colors for the color work. And so, yeah, I mean, I've ripped it out a couple times. I'm not sure I'm exceptionally happy with it. I did show it to a friend of mine. She loved it. It's kind of greens and pinks and a little bit of turquoise. Here it is. So I've changed these 2 colors here in the middle of that initial motif multiple times. Originally I had it kind of dark and it looked like it was too stripy for me. But now you can, I changed it to the white and that kind of Morit gray. So that's something I'm working on, and I have a feeling that this will be gifted. I think I like it, and I think the colors all work together, but it just doesn't read me. And I can't tell if it's that rose pink and the green or what. But I mean, all the colors separately are really magical, and they're all things that I would pick, and they're very earthy. But when I keep trying to put them together, I can't find the right vibe for my personal aesthetic. And I was talking to Nicole, the Gentle Knitter, about this because she also kind of participated with me, and yeah, we both were, just like. We were talking about selecting colors and how we love them. We put them together and we love it, but when we put it within our own style, it doesn't work, and it feels, yeah. So anyway, it's just an interesting exercise in color work, and I really enjoyed the process of this and ripping back and putting things. It reminded me of my original work with the Yell cardigan by Marie Wallen. So this is the Shetland Wool Week hat. I'll put the name down here because I actually didn't even look at it. I just downloaded it and cast on. And yeah, so I'll keep working on that, and that'll be a nice gift and a nice use of this remnant of the Biches Buche. And that was really one of the driving forces, is that I don't have enough of this to knit another beret. I'm like just a little bit shy. So I really wanted to use it in something, and I thought this would be the perfect application. So I've really stuck with this piece. I could have changed, I think, this out and maybe achieved a look that was more cohesive for my personal aesthetic, but I really wanted to work with this. So that's on the go, and yeah, I've been enjoying it, and I've knit a couple of the Shetland Wool Week hats, so it kind of felt good to get back there a little bit. The other thing that I've been contemplating since I cast off the Dreyma is working with this Romney handspun. This is some fiber from Bybrook Farm, and it's in this gorgeous chocolate brown. So I think I've found a vest that I'd like to cast on, and I had tried a couple other patterns for it. It ranges between kind of a worsted and an Aran bulky, so I'm just trying to futz around a little bit with my gauge, but I think I can get away with it on a US 7. So that's kind of piqued my interest, and I saw it and I was like, I really want to do something with it. So I've been researching out vests, and I think I will put a picture of the one I have landed on, which I literally just looked at this morning, and so that'll be here with its name, and you can check it out too. So that's kind of caught my eye, and yeah, I'd like to kind of work with that and get that going. And then one of the last things that I did is I downloaded and knit up Reliquary, which is a pattern by Sara Baur, who's my friend of Yarns at Yin-Hu. Now, I was invited to join Patricia of Tidal Yarns again at Rhinebeck, so I will be in her booth on Saturday and Sunday. And Patricia and I were both talking about Sara and her legacy, and that she was such a champion of Tidal Yarns and so many farm yarns and Hudson Valley textiles, that we really just wanted to honor her, especially at Rhinebeck, and that was the last time I saw Sara. So we've decided to just put together a little project with some Tidal yarns and beads and buttons for all of you who want to come by and share in Sara's memory and celebrate Sara with us. So we would love that. And again, this is Reliquary. I knit this in Tidal fingering. I just had these beads in my stash. I have some amber here, some moss agate, some glass check glass beads, and of course it will open up. You can put your stitch markers in there. I have soaked a little piece of felt in lavender and put it in there, and I put it in my project bag. So it's just a little, a little quick knit and an homage to Sara. She had designed this as part of a class that she took, and where I think she was washing, carding, or preparing and spinning a raw fleece, and so this was the representative pattern of that. So that's Reliquary by Sara Baur, and I hope I see you in the booth and we can talk about this project together at Rhinebeck. So that is the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, and again, I will be there with Patricia in her booth, and then I'll probably have a bit of a wander, but you'll most likely find me in the booth if you want to chat. So come celebrate Sara, come see this great project and what Patricia and I have put together, and so I thought that would be a really nice way to share with you all her great memory. So that's Reliquary. And finally, the last thing, I still am working on the Yell, Marie Wallen, Yell, Spindrift. It's happening. I did take a little break to finish the Dreyma and to do the hat, but I'm being called back to it. The last thing that I want to chat about is a field trip that I took and a project that I was inspired by. And the first thing is the project, and it's the Elevenses backpack, and that is by So Liberated. This is kind of a patchwork backpack, and it's got wax canvas, and I have wax canvas, and I have extra blocks, and I just loved how these came together. And so I've ordered the hardware for it, and I ordered the webbing from Noodlehead. And so that's all coming. And I was hanging out with my friend Elizabeth, and there is a new yarn store in Gorham, and the title of it is down here because I'm not able to keep things straight lately. So it's down here, and we visited, and it was absolutely lovely. It was a very relaxing space. She had Jameson Spindrift. She had a really cool book on wind in the willows and felt animals, and there was a lot of storybook themes around. She had an Anna Green Gables display, and The Wind in the Willows, and Jane Austen. There was embroidery, there was yarn, there was some little weaving projects, and she had fabric. And Elizabeth and I had the best time putting together some fat quarters for the Elevenses project bag. So so you can see them here. They're, the palette is very rich. Ironically, when I was looking at these later, I saw that many of these colors were in the bundle from Gathered Cheap Yarns that I used for the Shetland Wool Week hat. And I was so attracted to them in the fabric, but I wasn't really able to make them work in the knitting, and I just noticed that, and I thought it was interesting. There were a few standout pieces of fabric for me, though. These are all art gallery fabrics. One in particular is this, and I really wanted to use, maybe fussy cut some of these animals out for the center of the squares on the project bag. So I would love to make myself one, obviously, but I would love to do one for my nieces and my nephew, maybe one in Japanese taupe, and using some of the leftover homespun fabrics that I've been putting together for Cameron's quilt. So anyway, there's lots of options, and I'm just really inspired by this project bag. So there's that one. Then there was this piece that I just really loved. So I picked up that one. And then I also picked up this beauty, another one I think that could be fussy cut to do something spectacular with. So those were kind of 3 standouts for me that I was just really enamored with. And Elizabeth and I just had such a great time. She's going to make one too. She has a similar palette, but hers is a little bit more golden brown and teal. But I just think they'll be really fun to mess around with and work with. And I really appreciate these bag projects because they're useful. The quilting is approachable, and you can use lots of scraps, and they make great gifts. So the Elevenses by So Liberated. I think that's it. I think I've made it to the end as best I can. I hope that you enjoyed this little conversation. I hope you found some inspiration. I will look forward to seeing you next time. October will be very busy. There's quilts, there's bookbinding, there's the New York Sheep and Wool Show. So, and I'm also traveling for a get together with some friends. So there'll be a lot to talk about this month. Again, thank you so much for your support. I'm so glad that you're here. I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. Bye.